When it comes to accomplishing fat loss, to attain a physique that upholds the status of lean, toned, defined, or ripped, there is arguably one mistake to rule them all. The one mistake that might very well be responsible for derailing the fat loss progress of countless people. Plain and simple, if you make this mistake, you won't get results, or at least not the kind of results that you're hoping for. Fortunately, it's got a very straightforward fix, one that can be immediately implemented. In this video, while showing you footage from my latest full-body gym workout, I'm going to shed light on exactly what this mistake is and how you can immediately fix it. My intention is that if you've been struggling to get fat loss results from inadvertently making this mistake, by the time you get to the end of this video, you'll have a full understanding of how you can immediately fix the mistake so you can get the status of lean, toned, defined, and ripped, just the way that you're hoping for. Before we get started, if you find this video to be helpful, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Okay, let's dive in. There are few things more frustrating than setting out to accomplish a goal, working hard for it, and then failing to accomplish it. And what's arguably even more frustrating is doing all of the above without knowing why what you've been doing to accomplish the goal hasn't been working. From what I've seen, that's the situation many people find themselves in when it comes to accomplishing their fat loss goals. To be honest with you, it's a situation I found myself in for years as a younger lifter when it came to accomplishing my own fat loss goals. And part of that was getting visible abs. And it all boiled down to making this one monumental mistake. See, I really wanted to get ripped, so I did a lot to try to accomplish that. I worked out hard, and I did it consistently 5 times a week right from the get-go. I worked every muscle of my body and pushed every set to my limits in an attempt to tone up my physique. On top of that, I would also make sure to do a 15 to 20 minute ab isolation circuit before lifting weights. And get this, I even spent 30 to 45 minutes on the treadmill jogging at the very beginning of every one of my workouts. Yep, seriously. That would leave me at the gym from between 2 to 3 hours per session, depending on the specific workout. Some might look at that routine and think, dang, it would be impossible not to get ripped from a workout routine like that. But can you guess where I'm about to go with this? I didn't at all get the fat loss results I wanted. Now, don't get me wrong here. Upon working out in this manner, I definitely wasn't overweight or by any means out of shape. And I did build a significant amount of muscle and strength and have a decent amount of cardiovascular endurance from working out like this. All of those things had a great impact on my body and health. Ironically, the one thing that I didn't accomplish from that approach was the one thing I wanted most: to get ripped, toned, defined, to have visible abs. Yes, I was at a healthy body fat percentage. I was strong and I was muscular, but I didn't get anywhere close to the shredded status I wanted. Funny enough, I approached my fat loss goals in this manner for years without really changing anything, thinking that somehow my body was just going to start changing. Of course, since I didn't change my approach, my fat loss results didn't change either. The question is, with that kind of output, why the heck was I not really getting any leaner? How could 5 weekly 2 to 3 hour long workouts done consistently of combined cardio, ab isolation training, and lifting weights not lead me to getting completely peeled out of my mind? Was being lean just genetically not in the cards for me? Was my body in some way resistant to fat loss? Was my metabolism broken? What the heck was going on? Well, the answer now is very clear, and you can rest assured if you're watching and don't yet know the answer yourself that there was in fact nothing wrong with my ability to lose fat. So what was the reason for my lack of rippedness? regardless of all that activity I was doing, I wasn't in a deficit. Yep, that's all it boiled down to. Even from the vast amount of hard training I was doing, I was just not in a deficit. At the end of the day, that's the means in which anyone accomplishes fat loss, from burning more calories than you consume, plain and simple. Now, at the time, I kind of understood that concept, but not fully. I thought that since my output was so ridiculously high that there was no way I wasn't burning more calories than I was taking in. But even with that amount of hard training, that just wasn't the case. I was still not in a deficit. I was eating too many calories. And this leads me to bring light on the mistake that this video is meant to revolve around. Thinking that in order to lose fat, you simply need to work out more or just move more. While increased activity levels do increase energy output, or in other words, lead you to burn more calories, if you're taking in calories to the point of offsetting the amount of calories that are burned, you'll just never end up burning fat. And that's exactly the situation I was in, and that I was in for years. Yep, I'm telling you from experience. You can work out like an absolute crazy person and still not lose fat. So what's the solution? It's tracking your calorie intake. More specifically, zooming in on how many calories you're eating from food. From my experience as a physique coach over the past 7.5 years, I know that I'm not the only person to have failed to really realize that. Countless people by default will simply aim to increase their activity levels without paying close enough attention to their diets in an attempt to lose fat. And for some people, that might be enough to lose some fat, since it does mean burning more calories. But for many others, and I would even suspect that for most others, especially when considering our modern food culture, most won't get the kind of results they're really hoping for in doing so. The solution, as you might now already see, is simple. It's to start tracking your caloric intake to ensure the amount of calories that you're taking in are fewer than what your body is burning. I can tell you from my own firsthand experience that it wasn't until I started focusing on eating in a deficit that I finally started to get the fat loss results I wanted, including getting visible abs. Despite this solution being a simple one, I know it can be tough. It means changing the way you eat, which can be initially anxiety-inducing and uncomfortable, but it is the solution nonetheless. Something I remind my clients is that getting a lean, toned, defined, and ripped physique through fat loss is what ought to be described as an above-average physique status. Above average, as in order to attain it, you need to do things that most other people aren't doing. Things that might not feel like they are the norm. And in this case, that would be spending effort in adjusting your eating routine to ensure you're eating in a deficit. That means making different food selection decisions, and it means having an understanding of your caloric intake. Rest assured, though, although it's not what the average person does, it's not actually all that bad. In fact, as someone who follows his own self-made meal plan that reflects his own calorie goals and who has been doing so for many years, I can tell you that once you get the hang of it, it's not only easy, but it's also something I never really want to go back from. It's actually liberating, freeing, knowing that I have the control to get and stay lean through my dietary choices. I love it, and you might find you do too. Of course, you'll love it in addition to the results you get from it. And that's it. The mistake that so many people find themselves making when it comes to accomplishing fat loss is attempting to do so purely through increasing their activity levels or their exercise levels, in opposed to looking at their diets. For many people, or even most people, simply increasing activity levels is not enough to set the body in a deficit, which is what's needed to accomplish fat loss. The solution? Focus on your diet. Track your calories and make sure the amount that you're eating is less than the amount that your body is burning. I know, it might sound like it's tough. It might sound like a chore, and it might even sound like it kind of sucks. But from my experience, it's actually quite liberating and something that you might even find yourself enjoying and really seeing the value from doing. Of course, all of that in addition to enjoying the fat loss results that you've really been aiming for. At this point, I'd love to know your feedback. Let me know your thoughts and insights in the comment section below. Before this video comes to a close, I want to let you know about the work that I do. When I'm not making YouTube and Instagram content, I work full-time as an online physique coach, where I help my clients to accomplish their muscle growth and fat loss goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition. And I coach them through the process. I've been doing this work for over 7 years and love helping my clients to not only transform their bodies, but ultimately their lives. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, feel free to hit the link in the description below, where you can learn a little bit more about the work that I do and how I can help you. You can even use that link to schedule a free video consultation with me. If you have any questions about my coaching or how I can help you, just email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.